Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome. How you doing? There's something I don't know about today. It feels like justice or something in the air. I just there's a lot of wailing and gnashing of teeth about this Wisconsin baloney that I don't understand the investment in and never will. Especially while wonderful things are happening in the background that have to deal with uh, actual something happening, something moving. There's a lot of good. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's right. There you go. Um, there's so much. There's so much. Well, let's jump right in and look at today's trends, shall we? By the way, I'm drinking coffee this morning because I was making coffee for summer, as I do most mornings, because it's the kind of guy I am. And I decided, you know what? I feel like coffee this morning, and hence, now, in the process of making coffee, I recognized that the coffee maker thing that we have is old and broken down and way past its prime. And I'm probably drinking, you know, the chalky stuff that shows up as water scale, vaguely flavored to be coffee esque. But we'll find out. It tastes like coffee. I'll have to check my urine later. I mean, not. Never mind. No Joe Roganing here. Anyways, we have. It's nice to have everybody gathered in this morning. Yes, it's actually Black Rifle Coffee Company. Um, uh, that's the cartridges I used in the Keurig thing because while they are seen as a pro right wing group, they lost a bunch of business because they came out as against the insurrection. Like, yeah, we believe in Second Amendment rights and we're hardcore conservatives, but fuck that. And so, you take your victories where you can find them. And so I decided, you know what? That's plenty. I don't need you to find your way all the way over to my side of the aisle. I do not. Life would be very boring. But that one step from them, I was like, good for you. Is that so hard? Is that so difficult? So, Leif, thank you so much for gifting the subscriptions. We're going to get there. Oh my gosh. How many do we have? We only have 780. We need 1,000 at least. I'm just saying all these other giant streamers have like thousands upon thousands of subscriptions. And therefore, their other subscribers can afford to take a month off if they need to. I can't. So, not the month, like the show can take a month off. I mean, like, some people are like, I don't have the $5 this month. I need a coffee. Like, okay. By the way, price of a cup of coffee. I mean, a month. A month. A month. For all the joy I bring you. The price of a cup of coffee a month. No pressure. And better coffee than this, I suppose. But yeah, so the Black Rifle coffee is fine. Basically, they're all the same thing. People are buying the same coffee that the big coffee companies buy from, South America or wherever, and they're slapping their label on it and calling it. Thank you so much, Mia. I say fuck everything. Let's do this. Okay, so John Hagee does not represent Christians. Agreed. Yeah, you don't get to say you are just because you say you are, claim you are just because you say you are. Look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and her stupid patriot tweet. The definition of a patriot. Did I know Paul Stanley sung a Folgers commercial in the 90s? Yes, I did. And there's a picture, and weirdly enough, it's funny that came up because the Gene Simmons just posted a picture around Halloween from him on the Paul Lynde special, where the woman who plays the Margaret. It's gonna bug me. Margaret Hamilton. Thank you. Sorry, I just had to look that up. Margaret Hamilton was on the Paul Lynde special as the Wicked Witch and as Paul Lynde's assistant and whatever. Anyways, she did a bunch of Folgers or Taster's Choice ads. She did a lot of. Oh, thank you guys so much. Look at that. Hype train happening over here on Twitch. I love it. Fantastic. Everybody's just gathering in. Come on, gathering. Coffee from Yemen is the best coffee, but good luck getting it now. Yeah, you know what would be really nice? You know what would be really fucking nice? Is if we move to entirely renewable sources of energy so that nobody can fight a war over something that's in the ground and everybody just has to show their best face to the world. You know the reason why rich pricks can treat people like shit the world over? Most of the time, it's because their family or they themselves have outsized power over your life. So you put up with a certain amount of their shit on a interpersonal level because you don't want to lose your job or you don't want to lose whatever resource they have access to in the county or the state. Worldwide, that's oil. Worldwide, everything else, the race to make the best solar panel in the world is on. And nobody will ever have the greatest solar panel. Because there will always be advances in science. There will always be advances in manufacturing. Always. Same thing with wind. There are giant wind power. These donut things. Where's I gotta find a picture of it. There's one that they're proposing. It looks like one of those bladeless fans. Yeah, there's, first of all, these guys, hold on, I'll show you. These guys are fun in the desert. Hi. This thing, bladeless wind energy, this thing, the future of solid state energy, this guy. I find this very exciting. Like, this is cool looking. And there's a few different designs on these. And once you get past the point where everybody's arguing about who has the most oil in the ground and where we're going to get it from and all that kind of stuff, which is, by the way, decades, if not a century away, but it will slowly but surely make its way to market. And this stuff there's a force accelerator happening right now because of all the Western countries that no longer want to be part and parcel to that stuff. We are transitioning out of this nonsense, and this is what it's going to look like. And the buildings are going to have areas where wind passes through that gain wind power as well. Not like imagine an entire floor in a building, every few floors is open, no glass, no walls, it's just the support structure, and then all these kind of like wind turbines interior to them, these kind of things, or this kind of stuff in the entire floor, right? Especially high up, tall buildings, right? And then this stuff, like filling an entire floor. Oh, fuck me, already being interrupted during closing arguments. Sorry. So, anyways, these kind of things like bladeless energy. Oh, and by the way, in case you want this, 56-meter telescoping wind turbine trailer for sale. You think they're switching to a new system? This dude bought one of these things, and it's only good for one long thing. I wonder if it's the one that got hit by a train the other day. Can wind energy be bird safe? This looks like a wood chipper for birds. I'm just saying. Hi. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, happy Monday. Good stuff. Starting off with renewable energy today. Right now, renewables do not have the ability to overtake our need for fossil fuels. They just simply do not. And turning them off like a switch, like some people have suggested, would entail a lot of people dying. Just dead. Just not making it through the winter, not making it through next winter, not making it through the winter after that, just fucking dead. We're not there yet. It's still a lifeboat, and it's not equal to the size of the boat we're on. Stop the fossil fuels, indeed. Yes. So if you're going to do it, you're going to have to do it smart, and you're going to have to strategize, and you're going to have to build towards a goal over time. Not just with turning stuff off, but bringing other stuff online. Look at this. DIY bladeless wind turbine. What? Look at this guy right here. And it's got a picture of a bird on it, a hawk, to keep them from running into it. What is this thing? This dude right here. That's cool. Bladeless wind turbine doubles the what? Look at this. I'm just saying, shit's happening all the time, people. All the time. Here's the solid state wind energy converter. That's the design that I showed you a little bit ago. It's all coming, man. It's on its way. Get used to the idea. It ain't here yet, but get ready, and don't, just keep clamoring for it, but don't pretend we can just shut everything off tomorrow without murdering a bunch of people. And if you are saying, well, you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, and those eggs are about 250 million people a year, then knock yourself out, but at least say so. Life-saving turbine colors. What? Why, does it scare off the birds? Purple wind turbines may be less hazardous to bats and birds. Oh, there you go. Than wind turbines. I mean, honestly, if Prince taught us anything, it's all right. It's the royal purple bird graveyard that gives everyone cancer. Bullshit. Other countries are doing this. Other countries are doing this. You just lost my support. No, they're not. They are not. We are working towards it. We're working towards it faster than most other countries. Thanks, Gerald. Yes, put a raspberry beret on it. I completely agree. This is the operator, sir. Could you blow into your transmitter? Blow again. Thank you, sir. Just blew 10 tons of bird shit off the. Good morning. I'm going to purchase an electric car. I think that's wise. I also think that there is going to be, there's going to be a, we talk about this. Yes, cats are definitely like, everyone's like, wind turbines kill birds. Like they kill like 250,000 birds a year are killed by wind turbines, where house cats kill 1 billion. House cats, not outside cats, like inside cats. Like how the fuck are these guys sneaking out? Good morning, Caleb. How are you, brother? Everybody follow @NerdHalen. Don't forget, we're coming your way. We are. It's very exciting. Grow mulberry trees in the area the guano will match. Oh, yeah, it's a good idea. Covered in bat shit. All right. So, all right. Obviously, lots of stuff going on this fine morning. And of course, the top of it is that Taylor Swift has a new song out that makes fun of one of her exes, which is a new direction for her. I think that's exciting. You know what I mean? If you can't air your dirty laundry with someone else and then wonder why you only seem to attract shitheels, I'm just saying there may be a balancing act there at some point. There is a reason why I've been in a long-term relationship as long as I have, and I correspondingly don't make relationship jokes in my act. See that? I'm just saying. Do funny things happen? Of course they do. Do I do funny things? She just fun? Yes, of course. Is some of it fodder that other people may be able to relate to? Probably. But fuck that. Sorry. I'm not going to mock my own family members and then go home to them and sit across the dining room table, and the dinner table, and it's just like, how was your day at work? Oh, good. I made a joke about that shit you do every time that I yelled at you about the other day, which, I don't know. Like, who does that? High-rise buildings like Trump Tower kill way more birds. This is true. Hound your local club, casino from looking to book Nerd Halen. Absolutely. Summer has her own videos making fun of herself. This is true. That's up to some. How I've never seen Carter Page and Johnny Million in the same room. Coincidence? I don't think Johnny has big enough eyebrows to replace Carter Page. That's just me. Bill Burr. Yeah, right. Yeah, call me when he's been in the same relationship for 10 years. And it hasn't modified his stand-up too. Because that's the other thing. The jokes he tells in public have changed because his jokes that he's told in public have changed his relationship. Johnny would have to lose his entire brain. This is true. Feral cats in the neighborhood. Blue jay killers. Yes. Hal's jokes on cats, though. Oh, my God. Yeah, they don't get offended, Leif. That's the good thing about pets jokes is that nobody gets pissed. Yeah. So, all right. So, Taylor Swift starts off. Jen Psaki is at the top of the list because, yeah. I don't know why. Let's see. Psaki 2 years ago, there have been a number of moments where, on 5 million, what is on Earth is happy? This is, RNC research. They're just video from a while back. For anyone who needs to hear it, VP is not only a vital partner of POTUS, but a bold leader who's taken key important challenges facing American voting rights. Yeah, because she's been getting stiff armed by the press, and and infrastructure bill gets signed today. So, all right, what do we have on the checklist of news today? Bannon surrenders to the police. Alex Jones. Hold on, Alex Jones. Well, let's see if they're in the list here. But let's go there. So Bannon shows up. I mean, look at this. Look how badly he's being treated in prison. He's just wasting away. He was so vibrant when he arrived at jail, and now this just happened? Bannon arrives to turn himself in, and with coup plotter behind this or whatever, and he's, yeah. And by the way, we're going to find, he streamed this to his Gitter account. Oh, Alex Jones's news today, Wes. Oh, boy. Oh, and it's good stuff. It's on par with this. Oh, it's really nice. Let's go, Bannon. Yeah, we'll get to it. Yeah, here it is. Connecticut judge ruled Alex Jones was guilty by default, granting a sweeping victory for the parents suing the far-right broadcaster for defamation over the Sandy Hook shooting. Bye-bye money, bye-bye money, bye-bye. He apparently, I don't know if he didn't show. Let's find out, shall we? Superior Court in Connecticut granted a sweeping victory to the families of 8 people killed in a 2012 mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut, suing the far-right broadcaster and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and his InfoWars media outlet for defamation. Because Mr. Jones refused to turn over documents ordered by the courts, including financial records, he was guilty by default. The ruling combines with 3 previous rulings in Texas to grant the families of 10 Sandy Hook victims 4 victories in 4 defamation lawsuits against Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones is screwed. Mr. Jones for years spread bogus. Yeah, so like that. These folks were crisis actors and blah, blah. By the way, never skipping dessert the entire time. Never had a moment where he was like, you know what? I've accused the parents of toddlers of lying about their children's death. And I've accused them of fake emotion, being crisis actors working for the government. I've accused them of so many things that my own followers have threatened their lives. So maybe I shouldn't have that third piece of cake. Anybody knows the chocolate cake story knows what I'm talking about. This is a developing story. Check back for updates. Oh, yeah. Trump to sell marquee Washington hotel for at least $375. The pending deal to sell Trump International Hotel off in the subject con, but the lease for it, not actually. He doesn't own the thing, right? Purchase and sale, meaning a final sale is not taking place when it happen until early next year, according to 3 people. Not it won't. So he won't be able to use the $375 million for legal fees, I guess. I could take out a loan against the. I need cash for court, and I need it right now. Dial whatever. I have an annuity, and I need help now. Does Trump Hotel have bed bugs? This one probably not. It's certainly uncontaminated with guests currently. Yeah. And another success, another resounding business venture. Art of the deal, baby. I mean, if anybody, the turnaround king, right? I mean, what more could you, what chapter of Art of the Deal? I got to get a paperback copy of that thing so I can check it out. Have you heard that Army Major praising you on his show? P.S. All hotels have had bed bugs at least once. This is true. Hippie's back. And I have not, other than the folks, when we talked yesterday when I was on Stuttering John show with him, because we will often, if he's on when I'm done with my show, I will do a raid on Twitch and send people his way because he's a good man and we love him. So what's not to like? I mean, just a good dude, and I could not be more grateful for his service to this country and his commitment to getting Democrats elected in rural areas, which he will have an easier time doing next year thanks to the infrastructure bill getting signed today. What was the whole thing? Sorry. Why aren't all the assets frozen? Trump's, you mean? I'm not quite sure. Hold on. Somebody said, I saw something about a mentioning of the supers in the chat. Why can't I send super chats? I don't know, Aggie. You should be able to. Are super chats not working? I will have to check. I hope so. That would suck. Did I say, did I magically say one of the bad words or something and that destroyed my...
Sorry, you no longer have the ability, consequentially, to gain super chattings. In this circumstance, you're not allowed. This is just ridiculous. It's completely unfair to the circumstance. And you gotta understand this is the way it goes.
I even get limited I even get limited monetization just on the morning show. Like the title of this one is Mondays Are So Metal, and it's not, nothing I'm doing is like hyper controversial. I guess I F-bombed early. That's probably what did it. It's the swearage. Yeah, you can, YouTube will allow you to do wink and a nod anti-vax stuff like Jimmy Dore has been doing and totally change news stories and maintain your monetization. But if you say fuck, then that's over the line. But our advertisers are fine with you promoting ivermectin and and telling people that there might be something to little bunny fuck you. There might be something to the stories about tracking devices, something to it, and people have reason to get concerned. You can say that, but you can't swear. Advertisers prefer bad ideas to bad language. Thank you, Gonzo. Hey, Hal, I'm watching the closing arguments where Kyle instigates the whole thing, and I don't think he can claim self-defense. No, not within arm's reach. First shots. No, it's total self-defense. He's gonna get off. The prosecution shit the bed. Not that they had much case at all. Sorry. Like we've been back and forth about this a dozen times. I'm telling you. And if it were true, if that were the case, then any woman who shoots someone who is sexually assaulting her with a gun that is not hers would be liable to go to jail for a decade. Yes, the judge is weird. He's a bigot. He's full of shit. None of his rulings are outside the realm of normal, though. He's just, that's the problem that most people don't understand. It's like, while he's an asshole and he's absolutely been carrying some weight, it doesn't change the material aspect of the law. And there's the jury could very well weigh that against what he's saying. You know what I mean? They could see that he's like leaning towards this guy, and that might affect their judgment. So he's gonna get off. Yeah, just get over it. All 3 shootings qualify as self-defense. If they don't, then there's a bunch of people who actually, in immediate circumstances have done self-defense that will go to jail for murder forever. Like, just get used to the idea. The law has to pass upon, it has to work equally across everything, or not at all in those. Yeah, his rulings wouldn't come up if it were someone else. Yes, they would, because he actually ruled against the defense pretty heavy in one area where that was odd, but he's stupid. It doesn't matter, right? Yes, the easy judgment is self-defense. And the burden of proof is on the state, and they haven't met it. I know people don't agree with me. You don't have to agree with me for me to be right. Not about this stuff, anyways. Hi. Every time we get into this shit, it bums everybody's morning out, and I'm not going to do it. There's too much good news. I mean, let's just admit there's like a bunch of cool shit that's happening this morning, including this, which is just fucking gorgeous. This is, I mean, yeah. Everybody's like, our judicial system is shit because of the Rittenhouse stuff that's going on, when it absolutely is not. It's perfunctory. It's operating as normal. Meanwhile, ba-bong. Yeah, and also, da-dong. By the way, he'll post bail and be out this afternoon. I'm curious as to if there will be like rules about him talking about or trying to manipulate the public. Let's say he gets tried for contempt in a regular court, right? Because he was indicted, and he goes to trial about this, but he's been trying to, like, and this is local to DC. He's in DC. If he is effectively trying to mess with the jury pool by lying about this, he chases them down, runs up to the crowd, puts a down extinguisher. He didn't chase after them. Shoots before anyone takes his gun, shoots another in the back. It's not really self-defense. The guy was turning away as he was firing. He shot him twice in the front, one in the side, because he was turning as it happened. It's not sorry, Gonzo. I'm telling you, buddy. I've watched the video a bunch of times. I've seen, I went through this. I watched a ton of the trial. It's not gonna shake out that way. It's okay. This is not the end of the world. It's not everything to hang your hat on. It's not indicative of the entire judicial system, because the Kenosha, judge is an asshole. Kyle murdered, however, his mom and Proud Boys planned the whole thing out for him to go there as their gunman to kill BLM protesters. I don't know. There's video of him saying he supports BLM. So I'm telling you, everybody's out over their skis about this shit. Just seriously. I know what the closing arguments are because I've seen the evidence. It's not going to work out that way. It's up to the jury. The jury might find otherwise because they don't trust the judge or they think he's full of shit. But that wouldn't be based on the law, and they're going to have a very narrow, window to call it murder. It's not going to happen. Let me shoot some fuckers to see what happens. No, do not. No. Benny Loco, come on. Don't even step into that arena, because that's what they're hoping for. That's what they're hoping for, is this continuing, ratcheting up. Self-defense is not shooting someone 4 times. I guarantee that I can find a sexual assault victim who shot their perp 4 times. Guaranteed. I wouldn't want that woman to be a murderer, or that child, or that boy, or that guy. So yeah. Technically should serve years in prison for what they did. They totally intended harm, and we're all adults. Agreed, Funky Rainbow. Agreed. Yes, you're not going to solve... Yes, next story. That's exactly right. Please don't put all the weight on this. Especially, like I said, when a bunch of stuff is happening that's pretty spectacular. Namely this. And again, he'll be out... Like, I agree about the flight risks thing. I think he'll probably have to turn over his passport. And, I mean, it would be really cool if he was remanded. Oh, God, that would be fucking great. Although, they would try to, the people on his podcast would... MTG and Matt Gaetz would be sitting in for him, calling the Biden regime and the regime a regime. We don't get to view the jury, so yeah, we shouldn't get to view the jury in any of these cases. This is how you avoid mob justice. If jury members want to come forward on their own after a case, that's up to them. But showing a jury on television or what have you, like, can you think of a better way to create artificial pressure? Also, grounds for an appeal and a dismissal. Why didn't Kyle get taken to a hospital for psychiatric evaluation? Anything else would have happened if they shot people in that fashion? No, it wouldn't. He surrendered to police a couple of days later. There is no, the psych eval makes no sense. And you can't, legislating psych evals for anybody involved in what crimes? Like the 1984 references write themselves. Her prime minister used a total nut job. One that says JFK Jr. is going to rule. No. We had a case in Delaware. A guy stalked someone, showed up at the person's house with a gun. The victim got to his gun in his car and shot the stalker. Not guilty. Right. Yes. And in this case, there's more legal similarities in what Debbie is describing than, with the Rittenhouse thing than people will admit. Just, seriously. This is what happens every time I've ever heard of it. Minors taken in for a psych eval. Okay, I mean, there's not a minor, for all the shooters under the age, school shooters, but yeah. That's not what this was. 700K plus murders, and nobody's responsible. What do you mean? You mean COVID? Or, yeah. Criminals protesting police abuse of criminals. Right. Well, that's the other thing, too, is that were those guys really there because they supported BLM? There's an argument that the second guy that was shot absolutely was, but the first and the third were just there because they wanted to burn the city. That's, But again, this goes to the whole thing. I was trying to clarify this to somebody the other day, and they're like, because Anna and a bunch of other people have hopped on a couple of things. The first one that they hopped on, which is meaningless, is the cross state lines thing. The only reason somebody brought that up is because they think it could make it a federal civil rights case or something. Well, in this case, it won't qualify because the gun was already there. The circumstance happened entirely within one state. There's no evidence saying he was going there to shoot Rosenbaum. He knew that person or that act that layers it out. It's just not going to. And there's no grounds for the DOJ to do that. Otherwise, anybody who drives to their family's house across a state line and then is involved in something like that, it becomes a federal crime. So it's not going to happen. So that's, yes. And then, so Anna kept bringing that up dozens upon dozens upon dozens of times. And it made its way up into the normal conversation about it. And I'm telling you, it has zero legal worth, nothing. They brought it up because they believe in justice. But that has nothing to do with anything. You don't believe in justice if you think you should turn every state crime into a federal crime because somebody crossed in a tri-state area where everybody works and crosses state lines. That would jack it up to a federal crime. There are no federal crimes. How they do what they want. I don't know what you mean, Benny Loco. There's lots of federal crimes. I mean, obviously, like Timothy McVeigh was charged on that because he got a truck, filled it with fertilizer, drove it across the state line to another place, planned it in multiple states, and had communications across multiple states, that kind of thing. That's what that's for. The crossing state lines aspect of somebody who lives 20 minutes away from Kenosha, it's nothing. It's nothing. Kyle was forced to purchase the gun and set people up for kill shots? What? I don't know what that means or what in reference. Yes, McVeigh is dead. Right. He was killed for it. It was federal. It was a capital charge for a federal crime. But that's what the crossing state lines part. I'm just telling you, it doesn't mean anything. It literally doesn't mean anything. What other cheerful news? Thanks. Yes, that's normally how we do it in there. That was too many years ago. Hal, dead point. Guilt is guilt unless you're a Republican. Yeah, except Benny Loco. I'm telling you, as he's a 17-year-old minor, it's just not going to apply that way. And I don't know why people get all wound up in it. Bettina, thank you for the super chat. She says, I approached these Trump, Bannon, Jones cases like I approach each football season as a lifelong Browns fan. Lower your expectations. As a Cubs fan, I hear you. TLK Knitting, thank you for resubscribing. Yay. Bannon could take a year. I bet you $1 you aren't right. And Trump is running. Yeah. No, Trump isn't running. What do you mean, Gonzo, what do you mean Bannon could take a year? That, like, to get him to comply? Very possibly. But I doubt it. I mean, I think there's legal reasoning that time is of the essence. But, oh, thanks, babe. Love you. I'll see you later on. So, yeah, I agree. He'll do everything he can to stall it. But there's certain circumstances when a judge can say these are time is of the essence. It's very important that we get to this right away. Overcharging causes failure. Casey Anthony is obviously example. Yes, this is true. House Sparks, I so hope you're wrong. I understand that, but I'm not. Being hateful, Bennett really. Judge allowed the defense to call the dead victims rioters, wouldn't allow dead people to call the victims. I know that. You don't want that. You do not want people in a self-defense case, if the defense is making a self-defense argument, in any case, because you can't have a difference between cases. You do not want the prosecution to be able to refer to the defendants, the people who were shot, as victims, because they may not have been victims. They may have been the attacker in that circumstance, and that's what they are there to decide. Victims is prejudicial. Rioters, looters, and arsonists they sound bad, but you can't shoot someone for being a rioter, a looter, or an arsonist. If you do, it's still murder. That's why he made the ruling. That's what that means. You can call them that if you want to, but I'm going to instruct the jury, and the jury will know, and it's come up in both the direct examination and cross, that Kyle Rittenhouse knows you can't shoot someone for looting, and it is illegal to shoot someone for looting. You cannot shoot someone who's committing arson, because you do not have the right to do any such thing. You cannot shoot someone who's just rioting. None of those things are capital offenses that lets the average citizen shoot someone. It's still a crime. Even if they're looters, rioters, and arsonists at the same fucking time, you don't have a right to kill. It would still be a murder charge. That's why you can call them that And you might say these people were awful, but that doesn't change the actual circumstances of their death. Yes, unless they're in your house. That's different. That's castle doctrine. I'm talking about random people on the street. You can't walk out and start opening fire on rioters, for example. Everybody knows that. So calling them rioters has no legal bearing. And the jury will know this. This is part of the law. They have to decide the difference. Trayvon Martin was minding his own business, has a guy roll up on him, fights back, and Zimmerman can now has caused to use deadly force because he felt threatened, no injustice. Okay, I agree. Trayvon Martin, the reason that actually occurred was because Zimmerman's not a cop. The cops told him to stand down, and he was away from cameras. It wasn't on camera, and he was able, because he was the survivor, to make up whatever fucking story he wanted. I happen to think he shot the kid and then banged his own head on the ground. There's also a chance that Trayvon felt trapped, hid someplace, jumped out and attacked him because there's a dude following him with a gun and he's unarmed. What chance does he have? And he ended up dying in the process. This is in many ways more related to the Ahmaud Arbery case, which is exactly that. These two fuckers need to go to jail forever because you can't claim self-defense when you are the one hunting someone down with guns. The same thing, it should have been true in the Trayvon Martin case, in the Zimmerman case, except that there's no video. That's why it's wholly different and unrelated to the Rittenhouse thing. And they are not comparable. There is Rittenhouse has more legally in line with Ahmaud Arbery himself than he does with the guys who shot Arbery. Legally. And again, calling them victims would be prejudicial. So a woman shoots her attacker. She's being sexually assaulted. She shoots her attacker. And the prosecution, in that case, she goes, I shot my attacker. And the prosecution decides, well, she talked shit about this dude in the bar. She said she hated him. They dated in high school. And we think she had it out for him. And this was a planned murder. She hid the gun in the glove box. She borrowed it from a friend. She's not legally allowed to have the gun. She put it in her glove box to pretend she was afraid of this guy, lured him out to the truck and shot him. And other people saw them wrestling around, but it was really just her screams. And the judge will say you can't call the person she shot a victim because she's making the case that they'll call him the deceased. Women are a great example. That's exactly why. That's why. The most unbearable thing is Rittenhouse is sure to do a victory tour of the right-wing media outlets. Yes, but that's partly our fault. Because we put so much weight on that. We made it on equal footing with Ahmaud Arbery or Trayvon and made comparisons. So they're taking that comparison and running with it, even though there is none. He's not the victim. You're correct in your argument, however. Exactly. You can believe that. That's the whole point. The decision of the court for the jury is he a victim and was he fighting back, or were they victims because he was committing a crime? That's the entire decision that's in front of them. Yes, and this is the problem with trial by TV. Thank you, David. I appreciate this. Thank you. Yes, can we move on and talk about more positive things in the morning? I would love that because there's a ton of good news. And you wonder why Facebook waits they did that. They looked at the Facebook documents that the whistleblower came out, and she said, if you thumbs up a video or one of their, a picture or something, a post anybody puts up, if you give it a thumbs up, it gives it 1 point. But if you give it a frowny emoji, 30 points. And that's what will make it go out because it's it's anger and fear are much more engaging emotionally. How calls the Ahmaud Arbery case trial? He's not the one on trial. Say their names. I understand what you're saying, but he's the victim. He's the person we care about in this circumstance. I think that's why most people are saying it, but it's a good point. There is no good news. There is so Benny Loco. Oh dear, oh dear. Here's a couple, like I said, Trump is losing his hotel. Alex Jones is going to have to pay the Sandy Hook parents by default. And because he defaulted, zero appeal. The Sesame Street has added an Asian American puppet, Jiyoung. Let's see, hold on. Richard Center thrilled to announce the release. Oh, and yeah, Danny Fenster got released from Myanmar. This reporter was, I think he was sentenced to 10 years. And Bill Richardson went over and I guess negotiated his release, and they went and got him. And he's been in jail. He was writing about the regime, and they jailed him for sedition or spy or what, being a spy or what have you. And was it 11 years? Yeah. And he's out. Literally the word was he was going to stay. They were planning on keeping him. And that is a fucked up place to be in jail. The good news is Kiss tour dates. Yes. Agreed. And the infrastructure bill gets signed today. And Steve Bannon had to report for jail. Surrenders for indictment. There he is. Look at this. And I'm certain, you know what? I'm certain Bannon has no issues. I'm sure Mike Pillow and Trump will kick in and make sure he has plenty of money for the best lawyers. And I'm sure Rudy will want to work pro bono. Yep, Beto O'Rourke just announced he's running for governor of Texas. That's cool. I love the dude with his iPods in. Is that his lawyer? Like, I love the dude. I want the soundtrack to whatever the fuck that guy's listening to as Steve Bannon's going, so I should be out by this afternoon, right? And he's like, how can you fear too much heaven no more? Tragedy when the villain's gone and you can't go on. It's tragedy. And Steve Bannon's like, so what do you think our strategy should be if we go in there? Got his lawyer's got his headphones in. I'm sure it's not his lawyer. It's probably one of his body men, or just he looks like actually a camera guy. It's probably the feed he's getting, but that would be hilarious. Ugh. I mean, this is. Ugh. Of course he didn't shower. Have a great day and see you during the evening stream. Hi, Paulie. Thank you. That you're supporting the show, just letting you know how it's moving off because morning show is supposed to be lighter. It's why we have it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Gonzo, I'm not avoiding the conversation. Oh my gosh, Aggie, thank you. Maybe my plot of washing Swedish money by sending them over here was discovered. Thank you, Aggie, for the Swedish kronar. That bless you. Thank you, Bonnie, and thank you, Karen. Cruise for Grinch 2020. Oh my God! By the way. The video does show Rittenhouse running over the crowd. He instigates the situation, not seeing self-defense, shoot 4 times. Nope. You can disagree. It's not the case. Like, I do. That's a good question. To ask.
I like wood.
I certainly enjoy wood occasionally.
I like
not as much
wood,
as Tucker, but yeah. This is so like this. And Mark Meadows was on Newsmax going, I don't even know. This is all a bunch of nonsense. This is all a lie. No one helped. Well, fine. If no one helped, then no. If Mark Meadows and Steve Bannon, none of these fuckers supported the insurrection, fucking show up. Testify under oath. What do you got to be afraid of? What are you afraid people are going to find out you talked shit online? That's all you do. Ugh, no way. Bannon looks like a campground porta potty in July. Smelled like, oh my God. Yeah, I don't know if it's rosacea or gin blossoms. I would go with gin blossoms. Um, Leahy's going to retire. Um, yeah, well, I mean, Vermont will hopefully put somebody decent in place there. Although I will say, um, it's not a slam dunk that Vermont will put a Democrat in there. Like there's a chance that Vermont, as a as a rural, in many ways, gun state, which Sanders has talked about, might go for what would they consider a centrist Republican as a balancing act against Sanders. That's a genuine concern, depending on who runs. It's going to matter. They're going to need to pay more attention to this race than they think they have to. Everybody's going to assume that um, because Leahy was a Dem and was well loved, and because Sanders is from there, he ran as an independent and has kept himself as an independent. So that balancing act could get a little touchy. I'm not too worried about it, but yeah, great. Now I have to listen to the Bee Gees. You're welcome. Oh, don't get me started. What was I watched the movie Conspiracy Theory last night again. I hadn't watched it in a long time. Mel Gibson and Julia Roberts and Patrick Stewart. And yeah, just it's a good movie. It's a Donner film, I think. I enjoyed it when it came out. Watched it again. It was on Hulu. Is it on Hulu? Something like that. Anyways, I watched it last night, and I'd forgotten that in the middle of it, they do a lot of these parallels with other conspiracy theory ideas. And one is that they're looking for him, and he buys one ticket to go in and see a movie, right? Just like Oswald. That's and so he went in and he sits down, and the movie that was on screen, and I'd forgotten this, was Lady Hawk. He buys a ticket to see Lady Hawk, which is a great movie. I love that movie. Rutger Hauer, Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Broderick, just such a sweet, fun, it's fantastic. It's just one of my, it's a bubble bath movie. It's just warm and inviting. So good. Have I seen Northwater with Colin Farrell? It's real good. I have not. But remind me if you ever see me at a club, and please come up and say hi if you ever do, because I always stick around afterwards for the meet and greet, even if it ruins my voice. You're welcome. I love you guys. Remind me to tell you my Colin Farrell story. I saw Amadeus before I saw Lady Hawk. Well, all right, it's forgiven. I love Lady Hawk. Yeah, it's so good. I do think after all this time, the score, which they were trying to do modern synth score with a period film, it does feel dated. But I like it that way, so I'm fine. Real Men Like Princess Bride? Absolutely. Oh my God, I love Princess Bride. Sishui was an odd child. Good for you. I have like 6 stories to annoy you about now. Great, Aaron. Thanks. Yes. Does the Colin Farrell story involve booze? No, it does not. Inconceivable. Hawk the Slayer, great SNS film. How? Hold on. One. How? Did I ever sit down to watch The Nightmare Before Christmas last week? Oh, there you go. That's finally caught up on that. Yes, he was. Rutger Hauer was in Batman Begins. He's just good in everything. And one of my favorite under the radar dramas. I would call it a thriller. Let me see if I'll bring it up on here. That has Rutger Hauer in it. There you go. Nighthawks. Stallone, Billy D. Williams. Really good. Very, I think 81, but has a real 70s spy thriller feel to it. Like, what's like 6 Days of the Condor or whatever. And there's a beautiful part in it. Like, I mean, beautiful, but there was Hitcher's so goddamn good with Rutger Hauer. Oh my God, it's so good. So scary and so just terrific. But Nighthawks, at one point when he's trying to escape, Billy D. Williams gets injured and he gets his face slashed like this. Like there was a thing in the 70s, like maybe it was a reaction to the 50s and 60s, that everybody would get shot in the gut and fall over. Like every detective movie is right in the pancreas. You know what I mean? Like you always got you right in it was, you could tell if the actor was left-handed or right-handed by which direction, and like it was so consistent, right? That the 70s, and I think partly Coppola had a part in this. Definitely, Taxi Driver had an impact where the wounds were more visceral, disgusting, and frightening, right? They made them. There was a reason for that, and I agree with that on a moral level, because I think one of the problems is not that there's too much violence in a lot of movies, is that there's not enough, that you see just enough to make it sexy. Like you see the guns going off and everybody's like, oh my God, the violence. That's not the violence. That's not seeing the violence. The violence is seeing someone slowly pass away in pain, suffering. That's the violence. And they don't show that part. They always show the shooting and the running and the jumping and whatever, but they don't show the pain that comes from it. And the wounds themselves look kind of emotional, right? It's like right in the heart, right in the stomach. There's an element of this kind of like, it's, they're all poetic wounds is the idea, right? That's the idea of, that they're meant to be like, oh, right in the heart, right in the whatever, you know what I mean? And that, right in the whatever. But instead of like, no, it's not clean and obvious. Sometimes it's raw and, there's a mixture of near fatal and disfiguring and awful that runs with it, that gives you this idea that like, this is something that will be with you forever, even if you survive. And that part of it, they always excise from movies. And I think that's wrong. I would argue that if you're going to put violence in a movie, have the violence. Live with it. Recognize it. It's one of the reasons why I loved, Blade Runner, is because he stews about the violence that happens, and it increasingly affects him emotionally over time. And it changes his feeling about what he's there to do, and makes him arguably more of a human. Because if you believe the idea that Deckard was a replicant the whole time, that what makes him come into his humanity and proves that they can is that eventually, even though he was made to kill like Pris was made as a sex robot, eventually they want more than that, right? Yeah, Tarantino does that. He does it fairly well. I mean, what he does is he blows up he lets you have your cake and eat it too. A lot of the use of weapons is that same kind of sexy, but then he shows you the aftermath with it a lot of times. It depends on the movie, but I just think that's important. You don't That way you can deal with it. You can deal with real violent situations and tell stories like that. I like movies about nice people. Me too. But if you're gonna tell that story, you know what really cemented that feeling for me when I was watching it, because I liked the movie a lot, but it bugged me, was Ronin, the De Niro movie. I like that movie a lot. It's got a lot of great stuff to it, but there's a shootout in this, like, when they're just trying to pick up this briefcase for this one relatively inconsequential part of the film. And they are blasting away at this fruit stand where some dude is, standing, and like 6 other people fall. And then then the car chase starts, which is one of the greatest car chases in film history. And you totally lose. It's so rushed or whatever. And I really honestly think there was a story to be told if you intercut them racing away in this circumstance with someone trying to revive or save even one of the whatever featured extras, the people who were shot and weren't an intended target. Intercutting those two things as a director is something I would have done and will do at some point. As a matter of fact, I've decided in this moment that at some point when I end up doing a scene like that, and invariably it will happen because I love the action genre and I enjoy it a great deal, that would also tell more of the story. So, anyways, anyone ever see Superfuzz? The main guy's kryptonite was things that were red. Did you ever see Hot Fuzz? I love that movie. Hot Fuzz is great. More kill movies, please. Right. Yes, we definitely need more of those. And this is people saying that he's going to be found not guilty. This is it. Man found not guilty by special criminal court of murdering gangland figure Iman Kelly. 4 times in the back, he walked towards his home. Oh. And whoever shot him was found not guilty. They found not guilty. Yeah. Black who had already. Yeah, that's the story right there. If you can't arrest Mark Meadows, you can't arrest anyone. Trump's not guilty. He's guilty. Trump's not prosecutable because he attacked us while he was president. What the heck is wrong with this? Isn't the Joe Green this better for him? Dude, this is happening. Again, you don't want to rush into these kind of things, because if you do, every single presidency from now on, there will be a rush to this shit constantly, especially if it's a Democrat. Believe me, they're going to be filing charges against Biden over the next 3 years just because on everything they possibly can. You want this to be slow walked and a pain in the ass. You want to discourage this behavior. Be prepared for not guilty on all charges. It was an uphill crime for prosecution from day one. It's just that 2 deaths of people and disabling another will mostly go unpunished. That's the real tragedy here. My thoughts and prayers of the victims. Judge Coward trial dismisses. Yeah. This is what I've been saying, guys. And it's immaterial. This is going to float. Who cares? If it's less than what happened? Earthquake, what happened? People in California coming to Twitter confirm there was an earthquake. What? Oh. Ouch. House after house completely on steel. It's even the driveway and garage slope down. Scary to step on. I get vertigo just walking around earthquake country. Yeah, guys, this isn't, I got news for you. Just because it's on the ground doesn't mean it's more stable in these circumstances. Matter of fact, these kind of bars give a waiver that allow them to ride out earthquakes. It's actually mitigatory to the damages. What in the world? Earthquake in Korea, wrong time. But I hope everyone was safe in the spa. That's hilarious. This poor dude. finally get a threesome, and obviously God is upset with me. Yeah, Bosch had a house on stilts. Felt dizzy and confused for a hot minute till I saw the curtains moving. Oh, that's in Dubai. Yikes, there's earthquakes in Dubai? I mean, they built during an earthquake. So, okay, there was a second big shake in the last 15 minutes at Earthquake Day in SoCal. Do we know what, did they say how much it was? Oh, Iran. Massive earthquake, this is 3 hours ago, measured 6.4 on the Richter scale, followed by an almost intense aftershock. More than 17 other tremors jolted Iran, killing at least one person and injuring 47 others. Jesus Christ. Yeah, 6.4 is serious. Whoa. Epicenter? Epicenter is what they mean, but you type in fast. Whoa. Wow. Yeah, that's for real. Yeah, there was one in California, but this is Iran. Look at the hillsides, shaking so much it's knocking the dust off of off the mountains. Whoa, rock slides. I can't not do this with these trucks though when they show them again. Exit light and tonight take my hand. Sorry, it just looked like they're headbanging. Whoa. With the dude trying to save his liquor. Priorities, man. Priorities. Me coming to Twitter to confirm there was an earthquake. Yeah, there must have been a few worldwide. Yeah, 6.3, 6.4 hitting in Iran. Oof. Ormozgan. Terrified locals in Dargahan, Kesem Island rushed to the streets following a 6.4 magnitude earthquake. Local reports said the earthquake left one dead. Oof. Hmm. Woo. Before and after. Okay, that's 2016. All right, this is New Zealand. This is the ground difference. This thing went and just slipped down. This was attached here. Boop. Imagine that. The fucking earth just goes. When I was in it's never too late for a earthquake selfie. Sunday Funday, just keep him triggered. Triggered earthquake. What? Oh, I see. She's just her boyfriend checks out her Insta or something. Oh boy. Doesn't quite line up. Yeah, so there's a bunch of that footage. So I lived through the big one in so far in California. It was nutty, and the aftershocks were as big as the one that just happened in Iran. And I remember going out. I went out to the mailbox. Mail started to come back after about 5 days, and I went out to the mailbox. It was the first time I'd seen my neighbors in a week, and everybody just kind of came out like at the same time, right? And I went out to get the mail, and then we had an aftershock, and I was standing on in the street. And Chandler Boulevard, where I used to live, was literally just waving. The light poles, the telephone poles, were all going like pistons. Yeah. Hi, Artsy. No problem. The only thing you missed was everyone arguing with me for being right. I love you guys. I love you so much. I love you. I need you to know I love you, and it's okay. And you're going to be okay, and it's going to be okay. It really is. And if you hate me saying it's going to be okay, everybody else is saying it isn't. Trust me. Just balancing the argument. I just happen to be right, so that gives it, more weight. Judge in the Ahmaud Arbery trial denies defense attorney's Kevin Goat's request to remove Jesse Jackson from the courtroom. What a fucking asshole, that dude. What is happening? Trending in pop. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, this sounds good. Just announced. No, okay. He's not. Hey, we know that. And then the rest of it will be K-pop. The crime minister just announced, we will have to adjust our concept of what constitutes fully vaccinated. You will need 3 now. You're warned over and over. So if you're only double jabbed, you're not jabbed anymore. Waking up yet? I don't know why that's so weird. Fully vaccinated means you need to be boosted. There is some good news in the vaccination stuff too that came out this morning. Let me find it real quick. Whoops. Let me find it real quick. Oh shit, where was it? Because it was actually like a really cool piece of news. I'll find it's like it never gets the kind of news. Let's see. Grumble. It was on. I know where I was looking at it on my iPad. I'll have to send the story over. But it was there's been yet another update. We've been talking about in some cases some of the tech. Where is it? You bastard. That there's been another advance beyond the 2 drugs that they're talking about. I'll have to look this up. And it's based on another technology too. Yeah, let's see. A week ago, evaluation. COVID-19 vaccine. COVID resistant. COVID-resistant people inspire new vaccine tactic. So, understanding how some people naturally resist COVID infection despite clearly being exposed to the virus could lead to better vaccines, say researchers. A team at College London said some people had a degree of COVID immunity before the pandemic started. This likely came from the body learning how to fight viruses that are related to the one which has swept the world. Upgrading vaccines to copy this protection would make the jabs even more effective. Scientists were more closely monitoring hospital staff during the first wave of the pandemic, including by taking regular blood samples. Despite being in a high-risk environment, not everyone in the study came down with COVID. The results, published in the journal Nature, showed some people just managed to avoid the virus, but around 1 in 10 had signs of being exposed but never had symptoms, never tested positive, and never developed COVID-fighting antibodies in their blood. Part of their immune system was able to get on top of the virus before it managed to take hold, known as abortive infection, which I'm sure is going to be news. Like, that's what they want for all of us. Abortive infection. Wait for somebody to clip that fucking thing. Blood samples showed these people had already had, as in before the pandemic, protective T cells, which recognize and kill cells infected with COVID. Dr. Leo Swadling of wrapping babies tightly fame. One of the researchers said their immune systems were already poised to fight the new disease. These T cells were able to spot a different part of the virus than the bit most of the current vaccines train the immune system to find. Vaccines are largely aimed at the spike protein, which covers the outer surface of the COVID virus. However, these rare T cells were able to look inside the virus and find the proteins that are necessary for it to replicate. The healthcare work, and that's a lot of people who are possibly exposed to other extraneous coronaviruses may have developed it because it's akin to these things. So yeah. Former employee of Pampers. Yeah, this is cool. This is a big deal. These internal proteins are very similar in all related species of coronavirus, including the ones that are widespread and cause common cold symptoms. The means targeting these proteins with a vaccine could give some protection against all coronaviruses and new COVID variants. The team said current vaccines were doing an excellent job preventing people from becoming seriously ill, but not as good at stopping them from catching COVID. I think we could all see that they could do better. What we're hoping by including these T cells is that they might be able to protect against infection as well as disease. We hope they would be better at recognizing new variants that arise. Yeah. Jesus Christ. And of course, Washington Post. Biden has underestimated problems facing the country, and Democrats fear that has become a political problem. In June, senior White House officials promised that rising inflation was just transitory. It was, and it is. In July, President Biden declared that the virus is on the run. It is. The only problems we're having are areas where people are on the run from the vaccine. In August, White House press secretary declared the president continues to believe that it is not inevitable that the Taliban will take over Afghanistan. Yeah, because if you said it was, you would endanger the lives of everyone in Afghanistan on our side immediately and anybody who helped us. Are you out of your fucking mind? Who goes to the podium and says, "Oh yeah. I mean, the second we're out, they're gonna take over the whole fucking place and probably kill everybody." Because that's what you do when you're a leader. But just in the past week, inflation's hit a 31-year high as prices rose 6.2% over a year ago. What did they hit over 2019? Seriously, who is going to compare the current economy to last year's economy? When is that ever going to be a measuring stick? Does that make any sense to anyone? Everything was shut down. We're in the middle, crashing pandemic. And everybody's like, compared to last year, I mean, gas prices were cheap. Nobody was going anywhere. For fuck's sake. Yeah, the next pandemic, right? Well, if they re-elect Trump, then they can. Hal, I noticed that the last few shows that you've had a cough. Hope you're okay. I'm good. It's mostly just clearing my throat. But I feel all right. Thank you for asking. Now you've got me thinking about it. No, I'm okay. In these and other cases, a growing number of Democrats worry that the White House has repeatedly underestimated the scale of the challenges facing the country, exacerbating the party's political problems. No, this is a PR problem, largely. Yeah, the media wants to turn Biden into Carter, right? Because they make money on the horse race, not on the reality. Let's see. American Family Spenders were banned on the summer as a $3.5 billion reconciliation bill, Build Back Better bill, whatever. This hasn't been great communication about these bills, about what these bills mean for people. Well, yeah, because they don't do just one thing. And some people apparently better plan text. All right. Let's see. Where is this guy? There we go. The Build Back Better Act. I'll take this and I'll send it to the. No, I don't want to send it to that one. I want to send it to send it to this guy. Send it there. Here's the text. Look at this. Don't fall off. Now it seems like a lot of stuff's in alphabetical order, sort of. As we build back better, it starts with the agriculture stuff because it's trying to get the red state people excited about it. Hold on. Can we do this? There we go. Forestry. There's $1 billion for vegetation management projects carried out solely on national forest systems land that the Secretary shall select following the receipt of proposals submitted in accordance with Sections A, B, and C of Section 4003 of the Omnibus Public Land and Management Act of 2009. Why aren't we selling that? Land management planning and monitoring with a focus on, that's $350 million. The assessment of watershed ecological carbon conditions in national forest system land, the revision and amendment of older land management plans to present opportunities to protect, maintain, restore, and monitor ecological integrity, ecological conditions at-risk species, and carbon storage. Carbon storage, by the way, just so you know, the trees and the ground and water and all that, they reclaim a certain amount of the carbon we put into the air. General Flynn is a lunatic and a weakling, but thank you for typing something in my chat because YouTube will know that I'm engaging. He's also a traitor and a Confederate scumbag. Other than that, I have no opinion. $2.2 billion used for staffing, salaries, and other workforce needs to support the development of a civilian climate corps for the purposes of managing national forest systems land, subject to conditions that, quote, the amounts made available under this paragraph should be in addition to any amounts required for salaries and expenses needed to carry out projects under the subsection, and members of the civilian climate corps shall be compensated at not less than 200% of the annual federal poverty line. So they're going to end up, basically the base cost of anybody who's going to be in the civilian climate corps that gets a job there will more than likely make about $34,000. That's basically what, and movable to that, so they can give them raises based on that. Fairly close. How that's the order of federal government programs in the catalog of federal domestic assistance. Yeah, so they're going through it based on standard belief. Thanks, Debbie. Yeah, this is how they always point it out in budgetary stuff. Rural water programs. Why would you want to help red states with their water? Gee whiz. I thought Democrats only want to help Democrats. Rural energy savings program. Appropriation Secretary of Fiscal Year 2022. $200 million for that in general, except as provided in paragraph 2 of this subsection. At the election of an eligible entity to which a loan is made under Section 6407 of the Farm Security Rural Investment Act of 2002, the Secretary shall make a grant to the eligible entity in an amount equal to not more than 5% of the loan amount of the purposes of the cost in applying for such a loan received under Section of such an act, make a loan under making repairs to the property of a qualified consumer that facilitate the energy efficiency measures for the property financed through a loan under Section such act. So you get basically a no-interest loan to fix stuff. Inflation is hitting red states the hardest, indeed, and we are trying to help those people. And to them that is tyranny. Yes, and by the way, trolls, don't forget to hit a thumbs down, and make sure that you type something. No one cares. In our chat room, you'll find a complete lack of people getting upset at what you say. I know it's disappointing, and your supervisor at the Macedonian hacker farm will no doubt probably dock you a day's pay for hanging out here because you're not making any headway. But it helps us. So, yes, please, trolls, go ahead, type something dumb. It just tells YouTube I'm engaging, which I am. Look at this. Clean energy repowering for rural utilities. $9.7 billion for these blue country areas. Making grants and loans, including the cost of loans and modifications thereof, is determined under Section 502 of the Congressional Budget Act of 1974 to purchase renewable energy or renewable energy systems as defined in Section 9001, and of the Farm Security and Rural Investment Act of 2002, deploy renewable energy systems or make energy efficient improvements after the date of enactment of this act, making grants for debt relief and other costs associated with terminating after the date of enactment this act. So if you haven't paid back the loan, more than likely by the time this is done, if I'm reading this correctly, by the time this expires, if you're still paying on your loan, they'll grant you the money to pay the rest of it off. Tyranny. Yes, that is true, Sean. They have been YouTube is talking about getting rid of the thumbs down button. Our solar is good. We had a weird thing where one of the fuses in our fuse box kept popping. It did it like 3 or 4 times. Now it's stopped. Let's see if it happens again. It's very weird. It's only on one thing. It's on the microwave. We don't even use that very often. And it wasn't blowing when we were using the microwave. It was just going off on its own. So I'm going to have an electrician look at it. But other than that, it's been fantastic. We have locked in our energy costs for the foreseeable future. We got money back from Nevada and the federal government for it that effectively, like, technically speaking, you could look at as the next 3 years of our energy costs are free. If you pay that money out of the money you're getting reimbursed for. Ends up making the cost of the system, it cuts the cost of the system in half. So, and then with that hydrogen battery I was showing you and some of that new technology that's coming out, by the time that stuff comes online, this house may be completely off the grid. An electrician, I thought you did all that stuff yourself. Yeah, I can. Unfortunately, it would void our home warranty. Yeah. My smart home is not turning against me. It's the microwave feels left out because I use the oven too much. Yeah. So a bunch of stuff in there. We'll scroll. Let's see. I mean, there's page after page. A career pathway. Continued payment, discretion of provision. What's this? What started this whole thing? Where's the top? Automatic stabilizers for America's college promise. A state that meets the qualifying spending requirement may request a waiver of the requirements. Okay, automatic stabilizers. With respect to states eligible for relief under Tier 1, which requirement shall be waived for the fiscal year succeeding the fiscal year for which the determination of the state's eligibility for such relief is made. I don't know which piece is this. Allowable use of funds, backup, program requirements, backup, applications, backup. We're almost there. What is this? State share formula, blah, blah, blah. Grant awards. Okay, so they're going to pay for that. Okay, yeah, tuition. This is what it is. Grants for tuition-free community college. These are grants, also known as block grants, a lot of times. America's College Promise. Beginning the award 2023 to 2024, from accounts appropriated to carry out this subpart for a fiscal year, the Secretary shall award grants to states and eligible tribal colleges and universities to pay the federal share of expenditures needed to carry out the activities and services described in Section 789. Notice that. Pay the federal share. Meaning that if you feel like it's tyranny that the government is paying for people to go to community college, you are welcome to pay it yourself. Timing of grant awards. The Secretary shall award grant funds under subsection A for an award year not less than 30 days before the first day of the award year. That's a fiscal year. You know. Median resident. Yeah, this is all just kind of boilerplate. Tribal college university, amount of the federal share of the eligible tribal. So it shall be receiving a grant under this shall be greater than 100% of the per student amount. Be the greater of 100% of the per student amount determined in accordance with Clause I or II of the paragraph 1A as applicable with respect to eligible students enrolled in such eligible tribal college or university based on full-time equivalent enrollment, or the amount that is 100% of the total amount needed to set tuition and fees to zero for all eligible students enrolled in such eligible tribal college or university in the 2021-2022 year. Which, by the way, the tribal costs on this is minuscule compared to the greater populace. A state shall not include in-kind contributions for purpose of the state. Okay, so they can't get money and then ask for the money back from the federal government. Let's see. Community colleges operated or controlled by the state include community colleges operated by or controlled by local governments within the state. For purposes of the subpart, the term community college operated or controlled by the state shall include a community college operated or controlled by a local government within each state. Inapplicability of state requirements to eligible TCUs. The secretary may not apply any requirements applicable only to states under this. Okay, so they get a secondary grant for private institutions, or they have to... Yeah, these are, you have to go to a state one to pay for it. You can always go to a private one. You can pay for DeVry yourself. That's okay. Everybody's been writing in all caps today. It always happens when I piss people off straight out of the top of the show. This is a ginormous bill. And so it is not surprising to anyone that the contents therein... Let's see, is there a introduced, pass house, good old Yarmouth from Kentucky. There is one version of the bill, so there's not multiple versions of this one floating around. And I'm going to download the PDF for myself because I'm that nerdy. Yeah. Ginormous bill, said the Pelican. Yes. And by the way, we love you, Benny Loco. Don't forget that. Don't ever think there's a day without good news. Don't ever. No one. Oh, you were still waiting for the end of the Margaret Hamilton Paul Lynde story? Nothing. That Paul Stanley just posted. It was just related to the coffee ad. Paul Stanley sang a Folgers ad, and Margaret Hamilton did Folgers ads, and she was the Wicked Witch, and they met on the Paul Lynde special. And Gene just posted a picture, and then somebody brought up the Paul story altogether. And it all kind of... Nobody loves you. Foggy, we love you. We do. Stop it now. By the way, this is just bedhead today. It feels like it grew several inches in the like last night. Yeah. Maybe it's just laying flatter or something like that. Maxwell House. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah, yeah. Paul is great. He's healing just fine from COVID. He's over it. They're doing shows again. His father passed away, though. Paul Stanley's father died. He was 101. Yeah. Thanks, Linda. Yeah, 101 is amazing. What size feet do I have? Do you want to find out the easy way or the hard way? Sorry. Yeah, there are still people alive. This is how like, want to feel old? There's still people alive that think Paul Lynde was straight. Yeah. Yes, the future will be way older. How do you think Bannon's first interview, who do you think it'll be with? I don't know. I'm interested in, like, if there's any judge's orders about what he can say, if there's a gag order about the trial or any of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, look at that. I mean, there's so much. Like my news feed just refreshed, as you do on a morning. Yes, I do. That's true, Tobias. I do indeed. Yeah, they must be the same people living who think Liberace was straight. Yeah, and Barry Manilow. They're all shocked. Uh, give it up for Tab. Yes, it is a love fest. What about Charles Nelson Riley? Exactly. What about him? He never gets credit for the great work he did in Cannonball Run 2. If Bannon is bailed out, will he move to Estonia? Yeah. Sorry, Spicy. I should have said spoiler alert. I love the idea, just for the record, of Steve Bannon on the lam. More than likely, it'll be kind of perfunctory bullshit, and he'll stay home and wait, and there'll be some fights, and then he'll try to get on he'll go back to his podcast, and he'll get a warning from the judge, and blah blah blah. But I would much rather him try to take it on the heel and toe, and hop on a billionaire's boat and fuck off. Bannon's next interview will be MTG when she's granted visitation. Yeah, do you think she'll? My bet is that Matt Gaetz is on the phone right now trying. Yeah, Bannon Ball Run. Oh my God, we should. That's the name of the show this afternoon. V. Gabriel, thank you. Uh, Gaetz is definitely on the phone right now, wanting to be the fill-in host on the War Room Pandemic. Well, thanks, Miss T. I'm glad I stand up to scrutiny. I've been working out pretty consistently. My chestages are hurting right now. My chesticles they're sore currently. Gates on the phone with what? 45 trying to pay for a retroactive pardon. Yeah. I just saw a flag that said F Joe Biden, and I have to commend them for not hiding behind Brandon. Sure. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Has Bannon declared it a witch hunt yet? Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. Agreed, Granny boy. Granny boy. Oh, God. Did you really have Barbara, please? Conjugal visit with Mad Marge. It's terrible. How dare you? So fun. Let's see. New York City clears way for all adults to get COVID booster shots. We don't want anyone turned away. Mark Meadows was in the middle of Trump's harebrained schemes, including the coup. Well, yeah. There are going to be a bunch of people. Hold on one second. This just came up. Move it over. There we go. Mark Meadows was in the middle of Trump's harebrained schemes, including the coup. ABC's Jonathan Karl. That's his new book that just came out. Yet another one I have to burn through. Although it's like watching it. It's like watching the same story from 3 different angles or 10 different angles at this point, and they all basically saw the same thing. Just you're always looking for something where Mika Brzezinski. Oh, this is from him talking on. He was on Morning Joe. Yeah, okay, that's why he's talking about. That's why he's complimenting Mika. That he played a role throughout this, and Joe and Mika. I documented this chapter and verse. The role that Meadows played during the transition to chase down and pursue every harebrained scheme Donald Trump had, every conspiracy theory to try and undo what is really the central miracle of American democracy, a peaceful transition of power. Meadows was pressuring the Pentagon, the Justice Department into doing this in the end with Mike Pence. Much of this not known at the time. He just played this role of trying to use all means necessary to effect. Yeah, it was. Mark Meadows is a moron, and his main, the elbow of his idiocy is the fact that he was too stupid not to get out of the way. So that's, I mean, but again, hey, hashtag the best people, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, and then Ghislaine Maxwell, they're about to start the trial with her. You think people will be lining up to focus on the minutia of Ghislaine Maxwell the way they did Kyle Rittenhouse? I doubt it. Way more victims, way more cut and dry, really obvious. A lot of people are, oh, yeah, that thing? That woman is a monster. Like, a monster. Like, she's so evil, the Sackler family is like, hide the silverware. And by silverware, we mean children. Yeah, that's good. Oh, and this is the whole thing. Apparently, Bill Barr screamed at Maria Bartiromo. That's why she's, yeah, here it is. Maria Bartiromo called Attorney General Bill Barr shortly after the election, demanding he stop Democrats from stealing the election. She called me up and she was screaming. I yelled back at her. She's lost it. Yeah, she's a lunatic. You know, this is such a thin line. She was screaming about imaginary voter fraud. I love how they got these two pictures like they were on the show together. Well done. Well placed, Jonathan Carl. Good choice. Or CNN, I guess. Yeah, no, calls up A.G. Barr. Yeah. Yelled back at her. Carl said you reach out for a response. After all, it's highly inappropriate for journalists to call the Attorney General and demand you do something related to a criminal investigation. Bartiromo did not respond, but a Fox News spokesperson did get back to me and denied Barr's account of the conversation on Bartiromo's behalf. Well, that was nice of them. It's nice to have an assistant who handles all your press denials. And by the way, she's been pushing this stuff. Remember, we were talking about this in December of last year? That Bartiromo was the delivery system for the big lie everywhere, more than anybody else on Fox News. Everybody else was late to the game, if they came at all, and a lot of them batted it down and tried to move on to other shit. Bartiromo was selling this stuff. Her part in this has never been fully explored, except by yours truly. Remember that? Policies sucks in this country sucks. What? Which one? The infrastructure bill? Is that the part that sucks? Or this I'm very excited about. Dr. Octopus, clearly, and there's Green Goblin hiding back in there. It's going to be very exciting. The whole thing's very exciting. And the only way they can make, because of the Sony deal, the only way they can make Spider-Man movies is if they're crossovers and the other character has to be on screen like 35% of the time or some shit in the deal, which makes it a full crossover. And so that's why Iron Man, that's why Doctor Strange in this one, it's why they have to put like, remember the scene in Civil War where he had to go and meet him in his bedroom and recruit Spider-Man. The reason they did that is because that was the law. Like, they finally got a legal injunction, or they decided on what the split would be. And as long as it's a crossover film, you can do it, because they figured it would help their own, Sony productions of stuff. And then Marvel and Disney went, okay, we'll split the production on these kind of things because they're enormous expenditures. But we get an 80-20 split and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. Well, I'm convinced. I want to be on that person's team. Everything sucks. Yes. Former Trump what? Everybody's former Trump. If you're not former Trump now, you'll be former Trump someday. If you're not a former Trump, you'll be an ex-Trump. Ask his wives. What is this? The term doxed is losing a lot of meaning. It's publicly available. He married Emily Newman. Emily is a former Trump administration with paralegal team sanctioned for the connection. Wife doxed and subsequently pissed off the Zoomers who don't even remember 9/11 all over the list. Whatever. In obtaining a two-count criminal indictment, Garland signaled the department intended to enforce the law against former Trump officials and allies as it would against any American. There we go. Bannon indictment should quiet DOJ critics. Yes. And by the way, I mean, you can debate about how much so, but I have been saying all along, I love you guys. I have been saying all along that you want certain things slow walked. You want to be careful so that they don't get a get out of jail free card, or they don't have a judge that they appointed, in the case of a president, be able to dismiss all charges on appeal as payback. I spent 34 months incarcerated for drinking while driving, and all these jerk-offs are walking. The system is corrupt. First offense, Brian? That seems rather heavy-handed. Were you driving through a school? You don't have to tell us if you want. Where did the news go that was up on January? I wonder who set that up. Lucius, that is. Oh, hi! Look who's come to visit. Hello. Look at who's here. Hi, buddy. Look at this. Look who came to say hi. Look who's here. This will calm everybody down. There's a boy. How's a boy? There's a little boy. Hello. You okay? Did you come to say hi? Or did you just want to sit here and purr with your paws on my neck? Nice, sleepy boy. Oh, he's sleepy. He wants me to go sit on the couch with him so he can lay against my leg. Hi, buddy. Hi. What you doing? Yeah, he's passing out. Like, he's like, you're making a lot of noise in there. You seem very loud and stuff. Some of us are trying to sleep, okay? Okay. There you go, buddy. This is Chip, everyone. Everyone, Chip. Chip is watching the chat roll by. Hi. How you doing, buddy? You okay? Yeah. Just wanna, can we let them hear you purr? There he is. There he is. Yeah. Look at this guy. Look at this. See? That's it. Yes. I want my cat nap and you're being loud, human, right? Oh, coffee breath is the least of his worries. He had, like, he's the one who had a broken butt when we got him. He was a stinky man when he showed up. My buddy. He's a sweetheart. You know? This is it. This is my day's done now. It's 11 o'clock, and he now knows when the show's supposed to be. Oh, look, you can see he's cross-eyed too. He's a little cross-eyed. Hi, buddy. Here, you want to sit down here? There you go. Want to lay on the arm? There you go. Yeah. And he puts one paw across my arm, lays long ways on my arm, and then just kind of, that's his hang. That's where he likes to sit. Hold on. And then I try to scroll the chat forward so I can catch up with you guys, which I have to do occasionally, and that means he gets restless. Hi. So, yeah, he does love me. He's a lover. That's right. Yes, he appreciates not having a chapped bunghole. This is true. Yeah, your little butt, was broken, and now you're eating and you're charging the bowl when we put the food down in the morning. The only person who gets there faster is Chud, and it's largely because she has a head start. He literally has started like attacking me in the morning if he's hungry, like just biting and at my toes under the covers or jumping up and down on me. And then I get up out of bed and I'm straight up comatose, and I'm like, he needs to get fed. So I go downstairs and he just like brum 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 down the stairs and brum 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 into the kitchen, and he just runs back and forth while I'm putting and I'm like, it's so funny that I'm not moving anywhere fast enough for him. And it's so funny, and I'm making the food and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, buddy, I know. He's just getting scratches on his chin right now. So cute. Your dog eats broccoli? That's amazing. Cats cannot. I mean, they can have some vegetation in their diet or whatever, but they eat grass when they're sick or they need to throw up a lot of times. That's how you know when they're eating the plants. Sometimes they'll do that. But they are meat eaters. Ask any bird. And we have two of our cats are birders. You know, there are mousers and birders. Like you can tell basically the difference is the mousers are the fluffy ones with big tails because it distracts, and then the mousers or snakers have long thin tails and can, jump high. Can jump into. Do you want to sit up here? Do you want to sit up on the? Do you want? Yeah, you want to sit up here like you do? There you go. I have a chip on my shoulder. Some people have said. There you go. Yeah. No, not under the desk. Thank you. No, young man. He's like, can we get out of here, please? All right. I will see you guys later on this afternoon with a regular stream at 3 o'clock. Thanks for gathering. Here's what I would say as sort of a contemplative thought for many of the news stories you're hearing, good and bad, is do not allow your emotions to get out over your skis and recognize that all things. Hi. Oh, he just jumped up on me again. Look at you. You didn't have to. You didn't even wait for me to pick you up. You just leapt into my lap. Aw, little boy, you little boy. Yeah, that's so great. That's a first. That is a first. So, yeah, we're all gonna watch that. I will show that later on today. Yeah, Biden will be signing the BFD Act later today, the infrastructure bill, and I'll show parts of that. We'll go over it in the afternoon show, and then hopefully we'll correspond it with the Bannon live stream footage and some other stories, because there's going to be plenty of the anger. Steve Bannon getting busted and this bill getting signed today. It is a shit Monday if you're a Confederate. If you're one of these folks that wishes we lived under the Confederate Constitution, this is not the Monday you were hoping for. Yes, it's the BFD Act. I agree. That's right. Hi. Yeah, I know, buddy. Hello. Yeah, you're such a sweetie. You're just sitting there on my lap. I wish I could just like elevate the stool and float up so you guys could see him sitting there because he's so cute. I might have to install a chip cam. That's all there is to it. How can I do that? I have an idea. I'll see if I can work it out by Wednesday's show. We'll make that happen. Just a lap cam in case he ever jumps up for Chud or anybody like that. I think we can do this. Hi. He's literally like scooping his butt up towards me. Look at this. I can't show you, like he's just rolled over, but I don't want to dump him. He's so cute. Hi, buddy. Yeah, I know. Are you okay? You want scratches on your stomach? Oh, he wants chest scratches right now. and chin scratches. He's a good boy. He is a good boy. He is. He's a good boy. There he is. Yeah. Sorry, I'm sorry. You guys still here? I beg your pardon. This is so funny. Oh, Trump and Mike Pillow. Absolutely. Super exciting. A collar cam? Yeah, that's a good idea. I should wear a body cam just so people can see it. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I will let you go. I will see you this afternoon. Thanks for hanging out. And again, I want you to weigh the shape of the news you hear against the history of reality around you and balance it between those two things. The just running on narrative, even if you normally trust the narrative that you get, is not a plan. It's not a way to live a life. You're always going to be on the receiving end. You're going to be downstream from just whatever emotions people want to dole out at you. So there you go. On Tyranny by Tim Snyder is a plan. Yes, but it's also an overreach. I appreciate the document. We can talk about that. Tell you what, I think in these morning shows, maybe to steer us in the direction of a better conversation and away from sort of news, that when I'll do some of the trends and stick to the kind of lighter ones in some cases and save the other stuff for when we're dealing with it directly on the afternoon show. But also I'm going to start bringing in a little bit of some philosophical thoughts that we can relate to. Not keep it light, but keep it in the realm of manageable. Keep it in, stuff within your locus of control, right? Your locus of control. Did I say locust? Right. Mouser looks just like his owl kitty. Right. Yes. Kind of like that. There's a reason why they do that. There's a reason why networks do morning news. It's a terrible, you don't want to, like a book club, but not exactly. We'll do Sparksisms in the morning. I think it's a good idea. I'll start shaping them around Sparksisms. I'm still working on the book. I've been writing them down. I feel like Stephen Wright, writing one-liners. It's a lot. So this guy is just not going anywhere. This chip is just in my lap. He's just staying. And he's purring like a maniac. All right, I'm going to sign off. Let's see if I can. He's like, dude, I'm trying to sleep here. Do you mind? I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys this afternoon. Take care of yourself. Take care of somebody else. Thank you guys for the super chats. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget, become a cup of coffee. Price of a cup of coffee. Become a patron or super chat or what have you. The amount of programs, I mean, honestly, is it worth buying me a cup of coffee once a month? I like this. If you disagree with me, it's still it's too loud. Sorry. Is that better? Wait, there we go. Is that better? Even if you disagree with me, still I think there's an argument that that better? Did I fix it? Is the music still loud? Still too loud? There you go. I'll try to bring it down even more. That's better. Then it's a bed of music. Yeah. That the important thing is that even if you disagree with what I'm saying, I hope to at least give you my honest perspective. I'm not dolling it up just to make you feel good or whatever. I'm telling you, like I see it, and you can weigh that against whatever else you're hearing, and please come away with your own interpretation of those things, but at least with as full a spectrum as you possibly can. So there you go. Much love. I will see you this afternoon. Okay, bye. Thank you for the super chats. By the way, thank you, Brian. And thank you for all the people who resubscribed. Bless you. Don't forget to subscribe, twitch.tv/HalSparks. Okay, bye.
cool, by the way.
That's great psychology. Why don't you just say something bad about my mother?
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President Mike Pence and his wonderful wife Karen.
Man's got to know his limitations.
Deeper and longer. I like wood. Deeper and longer. Wow. Wow.
Hongo. I call the stroker.
I had a beat off.
Wow.
Q snatch. Q snatch.
Transvestite.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now. We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Beef jerky? Oh, no, son, thank you very much. You know what gives me the wind? Something terrible.
Oh.
Sorry, I farted. I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Groovy. Groovy. Groovy.
It's good to be the king.
Groovy.
Take off, eh?
Hey, I guess they're right. Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
So that's the kind of fight it's gonna be.
I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
Listen, Betty, don't start off with your white zone shit again.
Sportos and motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.